Here they come.
Welcome to this week's episode of Here They Come. I'm Paul Ramlow.
And I'm Jessica Schroeder.
Well, Jessica, this Sunday over in Solvalla, Sweden, the Elitlopp, one of the most prestigious races in European harness racing, will take place, with 16 of the top trotters in the sport taking place in that race. We have a couple of North American participants, Wing Song Giant representing Canada and Arch Madness representing the United States.
And Brian Sears will be taking his first trip over to Sweden to drive Arch Madness in the race on Sunday, May 27th. The horse has made over $3.34 million in his career, and it's not his first time over in Europe either. He went over there last year to race in the Oslo Grand Prix and the Elitlopp, and then this year again he went over earlier this month. So it'll be interesting to see how he does this year compared to last year.
Yeah, Brian Sears has driven Arch Madness quite a bit. They've had some major victories, including the Breeders' Crown 3-year-old Colt Trot, the Maple Leaf Trot, and the Titan Cup. But this will be Brian's first time driving Arch Madness over in Europe. He shared some of his thoughts on the upcoming trip with Harness Racing Communications' Ken Weingartner.
I'm pretty excited, looking forward to going over there. It's quite an event, and you know, you just got to take advantage of the opportunity. Hopefully, put on a good showing over there and horse race as well. And I'm able to you know, drive the race accordingly, and things work out, and could have a good day. The racing style is quite a bit different than here. They, you know, they sit on the outside and seem to rate their horses quite a bit. They don't, you know, really rush them and throw up big fractions. They just kind of rate them and then brush home and hit the gas like the last quarter of a mile or 3/8 of a mile. Hopefully I get a few drives Saturday and get a little bit of a feel for the track and the gate and how the starter, I guess it's on a timer, and how the starting car releases the horses. So I have a little bit of a feel and you know, can get an understanding of the way they race. Totally different style, and you know, the races that I see, you know, they invite you because they want to beat you. You know, you make a race out of it, and I know that is part of it, and so we'll see what happens. Hopefully, I'll you know, be aware of all the possibilities that can go on, and you know, be in the right spot. He does have pretty good gate speed, and he also can take a lot of air. He doesn't mind first over. He's raced first over some very good trips before, and you know, if he's strong and he's on his game, you know, he's as good as anybody, that's for sure.
This past weekend, the top 5 horses in the Hoofbeats Trackmaster predictive rankings for Pacers were all slated to make their season's debut. Unfortunately, the number 3 horse, Warrawee Needy, did not race as he was scratched sick from his elimination for the Upper Canada Cup at Georgian Downs. However, top-ranked A Rock and Roll Dance did race and did win in a time of 150 1/5. in his $17,000 New Jersey Sire Stakes division at Meadowlands Racetrack. A Rock and Roll Dance made more than $860,000 as a 2-year-old and closed out his campaign by winning the $510,000 Governor's Cup.
Number 2 in the predictive rankings is Sweet Lou, trained by the Ron Burke stable. He took his $106,000 division of the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes at Pocono Downs in a blistering 149 3. That win took him with career earnings now over $739,000.
Jessica, number 4 horse in the predictive rankings for Pacers is Heston Blue Chip. The defending New York Sire Stake champion made his season's debut on Monday in a $66,848 division of the New York Sire Stakes at Yonkers Raceway. Heston Blue Chip scored in a time of 1:52 for his 12th win in 14 lifetime starts. He is trained by Linda Toscano and owned by Ken Jacobs.
The top-ranked filly in the predictive rankings, sitting at number 5, is American Jewel, who also made her debut this weekend at Vernon Downs. She raced in a New York Sire Stakes division, going for a little over $134,000. Although she finished second to Major Look, driven by Jeff Gregory, who won in 150, she did pace in 150 2 with the last quarter in 26 3. The Jimmy Takter trainee now has over $685,000 in career earnings.
Well, the track was obviously lightning fast at Vernon this past Saturday night. In addition to that track record in the New York Sire Stakes set by Major Look, the all-age track record was lowered by He's Gorgeous to a time of 148 3. He's Gorgeous lowered his own track record, which was 150, an effort he had in his last start at Vernon. Again, that 148 3 is the fastest mile in the 59-year history of Vernon Downs. And speaking of other divisional track records, at Scarborough Downs this past Sunday, a mark that was set in 1990 for older trotting mares was equaled by IPO Blue Chip, who equaled the mark of 157 4 set by Kit Lobel in the Legislators' Trot at Scarborough in 1990. Congratulations to both these horses and their track record performances.
Something very interesting happened on May 6th this year. A rare white Standardbred was born in New Jersey.
Yeah, at Fairwinds Farm in Cream Ridge, New Jersey, owner Peter Congelosi saw a white colt born from his bay mare Coochie Mama. The stallion was the bay stallion Art Major. So that's quite interesting, Jessica.
It is. Art Major's won over $2.7 million and has had quite a successful stud career already. And so this foal quite potentially has a lot to live up to.
This won't be the first white Standardbred to ever try to get to the races, though, Jessica. Back in 1998, a horse named Historically Unique, quite appropriate, was foaled in Ontario. That pacing mare did not get to the races, though, until she was 5 years old in 2003. Unfortunately, she only made 3 starts, and she earned not even a dime. That daughter of Historic. Hopefully, this white colt will have a little bit better racing luck.
Tell us a little bit about what you thought when you got the phone call saying, "Congratulations, Pete, you got a white colt."
Well, the phone call really didn't come in quite like that. The phone call was a little bit more mysterious. I really think they just wanted to see the look on my face when I saw him. I did wiggle it out of the guy who delivered her, and I was a little stunned and surprised, but not as much as you would think. But it was a shock.
Well, you said when you look at him, if you look at him colorblind, what do you see?
Well, like I've told everybody here, put on a pair of sunglasses and look at him, and he looks just like his mother to me. So he's every bit of Standardbred. He moves great. I mean, I just see a Standardbred.
Do you have a game plan yet for this little guy?
Well, I thought I did, but I've been contacted by a few people who are very interested in him. So I think the game plan may involve taking a couple of partners. But my game plan is to treat him just like every other horse. He's going to grow up here in Fairwinds. You know, when he's a year and a half old, if I decide I'm keeping him, he'll go to work with Mark Carter, and we'll go from there. He'll become a racehorse.
Well, Jessica, 70 horses racing in a matinee event is not that unusual in the sport of harness racing, but this past weekend, those 70 horses were racing in the state of Texas, which is looking to get USTA-sanctioned harness racing down there. And a pair of USTA directors went down to offer their expertise to the folks down in the great state of Texas.
Yeah, Royal Roland from Iowa and Gabe Wand of Wisconsin went down to take a look at what the racing was like in Texas, see what they could do to assist. They need to get presiding judges. They're going to need to measure the track and just give a little insight on what they can do to get sanctioned racing down in Texas. I know that Gabe also announced a race, and Royal made his first start back since an accident that he had last summer, and he made his first start back down at that matinee.
And Jessica, not only did Royal race in Texas, he won in Texas, winning his matinee by more than 2 lengths. The entire day's racing events were coordinated by local horseman Lorenzo Gooch, who also hosted the USTA Directors at a picnic lunch at his farm. Well, Jessica, that wraps up not only this episode of Here They Come, but this was the final episode of our 2011-2012 season. It's been a real pleasure working with you this year.
Thank you for asking me for co-hosting this year. I had a great first-year experience. And for those of you viewers out there, I hope you enjoyed the podcast as well. And I hope to see a lot of you out at the different races this summer.
For this final episode, we'd like to thank Brian Sears, Ken Weingartner, and our producer, Rich Johnston. Just a reminder that while this is the final episode of Here They Come, the USTA video will be back on June 7th with the first episode of Eye on Harness Racing and John Pavlak. Then we'll return in the fall for another season of Here They Come. I'm Paul Ramlow.
And I'm Jessica Schroeder.
Thanks for joining us this season on Here They Come.